What's up, Boo Thangs? Welcome back to another episode of The Movie Shelf. That's where we take a movie, usually from this shelf, we watch it, we compare it against all the other movies on the shelf, and then give it a score and see where it comes in. One thing we have not done yet on the show is see a movie that is currently in theaters. So that was my mission, should I choose to accept it this time, and I did. And I went and saw Mission Impossible Part 7, Dead Reckoning Part 1. That's kind of confusing. It's the seventh film in the series, but it's part one of two parts of a film. And this film is the seventh film. Um, Part two will be the eighth and final film. Um, that will at least that will star Tom Cruise as the lead character, Ethan Hunt. Now, writer director, same person, Christopher McQuarrie. This is, I believe, this was his third film in the series, and part two, which he also wrote and directed, will be his fourth, and again his final. It's got Tom Cruise and Ving Rhames in it. In fact, those two actors are the only two actors that have appeared in all seven films, and will appear in the eighth as well. Simon Pegg came along somewhere in the third film as Luther, or I'm not as Luther. That's Ving Rhames, but as Benji Dunn. Um, Rebecca Ferguson has played Ilsa in a couple of the films. She's back in this one. The other cast members of note would be Haley Atwell, Vanessa Kirby, and Palm Clementif. And I want to say Carrie Ellis is in this as well, which is cool because he plays Dillinger. He co-starred once before with Tom Cruise in a little film called Days of Thunder, and that was back in 1990. He played Russ Wheeler, the rookie driver who fills in for Cole Trickle Cole Trickle being Tom Cruise's character. Um, and they later become teammates and then bitter rivals. Blah 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 blah. Check out the film. I'm sure I'll review it at some point. Um, this is the first of the Mission Impossible series to not have anything to do with J.J. Abrams or his production company, Bad Robot. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if they had a falling out. I just know that he or his production company was not involved for the first time. Let's talk plot a little bit. So, if you've ever watched a Mission Impossible movie, you know that sometimes the plot can get a little convoluted and hard to follow. Um, this is a very complex plot in this one as well, but it's not really hard to follow. It's very easy to follow, actually. It's basically AI, or artificial intelligence, is all the rave these days. There are people are using it to hear what Elvis would sound like singing, Britney Spears, stuff like that. I really find no use for those types of things. I don't even really find them interesting. But AI is a real thing, and if abused or falling into the wrong hands, it could become a problem. And this movie tries to demonstrate that by an AI entity becoming smart with all the intelligence that it gathers, and basically the only way to beat the entity or get around the entity would be to destroy it. But if you're trying to maneuver your way around it, analog um, is the way that they would do it. Now, analog can still be corrupted by digital. We know this, but there has to be a connection. I'm not going to get into all the nerd stuff about it, but I did think, I was like, all right, he's going analog to try and get around this, but that's not necessarily going to solve the problem because you have to be connected somewhere. But, we'll let the movie have that one. I'm not going to fight it too hard. I'll fight it on my score. How about that? So this film started filming um, during the pandemic, like literally right when the pandemic started. I believe they began principal photography in Venice, Italy in February of 2020. Now, if you guys know that March, as soon as March hit, pretty much everything was shut down. So this film, it cost $291 million to make this movie. That's one of the most expensive movies of all time, and really a lot of that is because of the amount of times they had to shut down production. And when you shut down production like this, not only does it cost money, but for the length of time we're talking about, you have people that move on to other things, and then when you come back, you lose continuity in the people that have been working for you. And if you have to hire new people that don't have the same understanding as the people that were there when you originally started, you're going to lose some things. And I don't know about you guys, but I kind of feel like Tom Cruise is a perfectionist, um, almost to a fault. And he has been known to, well, I'll just tell you this. There's some audio of him flipping out on set about people not following safety protocol during the pandemic. And I'm going to post a link to that below. I happen to agree with him. He does say, he's like, I care about you guys, and that's why, I'm getting pissed off. And he really says drops a lot of F-bombs, and he's very abrasive about it. He's not at all holding back. Some people in Hollywood jumped to defend him, and some said he was way out of line. You guys can be the judge on that. I am a consummate Tom Cruise defender. I don't care if he's crazy. I know he's a Scientologist. I know that he doesn't believe in psychiatry, but he does have a point on some of that stuff if you watch it. Like, he talks about medication and Ritalin and like just how we give our kids everything, and he says it just masks the problem. It doesn't heal anything. And I agree with that. If you take medications for a chemical imbalance, you're not really healing anything. You're just putting a band-aid on it. And I get it. We need those things to survive. It's more difficult when you're dealing with kids, maybe, but if you guys think Tom Cruise is crazy and you hate him, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I'm able to actually separate the actor from the actions, and he's amazing at everything he does on film, and he always has been. So there's that. Anyway, check out the link. Tell me in the comments if you think he's out of line, or if you think I'm out of line, or if you want to yell at me about backing him up. That's totally cool too. I'm here for it. We all know that he does his own stunts as well. So when I'm watching this film, I'm thinking about it. I have that in mind, and I'm like, every time he's flying through the air, I'm like, that's him. And there's one particular stunt, and I'm going to put the link for that whole thing down here. Don't worry, it's not going to ruin the movie for you. But it's an insane motorcycle jump off of a cliff that he did. Okay, let me just give you the numbers on this. All right. When they actually did this, he did the stunt 6 times so that they could capture all the different angles and camera positions that they needed. 6 times he did this jump. All right. But in order to get even to that point, he did 500 skydives to learn how to control his body and himself, and how to make his face go, make all the funny things that they needed for the film. 500 times. All right. He jumped off of a ramp on the motorcycle over 1,300 times to make sure that when he did those 6 takes, he was executing everything perfectly. That's dedication, man. I can't tell you how much I respect the guy's filmmaking. And he had 2 movies that were done during the pandemic, which is this film and of course Maverick. that had to be delayed by years. And I'm glad that we got them because they're both fantastic. All right, what else do we want to talk about? This film comes 27 years after the original film in the franchise. That's a long running show, folks. And I think they're all pretty decent. Um, one thing I noticed when I was watching the film is the opening credits don't actually start till almost 30 minutes into the film, as when you get the dun 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 dun, dun, which is amazing. I mean, that's quite an opening sequence to get that far. The female roles in the film are all incredible. Haley Atwell plays a character called Grace. She's stunning to look at. She's mesmerizing. How often she thwarts Ethan despite actually liking him. So, despite the film being delayed forever and ever and ever because of COVID and costing $291 million, this film came out in early July and it has already made over $450 million. So, it's well on its way to success. I mean, it's already successful. It's made its money back and then some. I'm sure that while they were spending all this money making the film, they were probably freaked out a little bit. So let's talk cliffhanger. This film has a nice resolution, despite the fact that it's only part one of part two. Um, Basically, the whole thing revolves around a key. All right. And this key is in two pieces. And trying to get the two pieces of the key at the same time so that they can connect together to make the one key to control the entity. You know, Ethan wants to destroy it. Every government in the world wants it because if you can control the AI entity, you can control everything. That's the basic crux of it. And that's not spoiling anything. That's just setting up anything that you could see basically from the trailers. Um, I don't know that the film suffers from missing J.J. Abrams. Um, it's quite good. Christopher McQuarrie, he's done a fantastic job writing the dialogue. Everything is fast paced, but not so fast paced that you'll miss things. Because they are very good to let you continually know what's going on. That said, a movie of this nature is never going to be in the 80s or 90s. Maybe it could reach the 80s at some point, but it's never going to be a 90. So let's not expect that. I'm going to go ahead and give my final rating on this film now. And I'm going to tell you it's good. Go watch it. You'll love it. It's a 75.7. All right, 75.7. And that's still the lowest film that I've reviewed so far. And I got to tell you, I thoroughly enjoyed this film. And I think you will too. 75.5, 7th. Until next time, thanks for watching The Movie Shelf.